in the future, AION staking, and in the not too distant future, AION staking and Unity will be active. So let's take a look at it. What's going on, Savages? Pretty soon, AION is going to be moving into Unity, the new hybrid protocol from AION that merges proof of work and proof of stake. It requires some significant tweaks to the economic model the network uses. Proof of work still offers security through hardware and decentralization, while proof of stake offers security through economic means. There will be two different block types. There'll be proof of work blocks and proof of stake blocks, and both have fixed block rewards of 4.5 AION per block. We're going to get into a little bit more of that in a few minutes, but just realize that it is 4.5 AION per block for a proof of stake or a proof of work block. These proof of work and proof of stake blocks will be written to the chain to evenly distribute and balance block production types. The proof of work blocks are done by miners. Proof of stake is done by validators, stakers. The current block reward for proof of work is just, and this is current today, is just 1.51 AION. So you can see how it looks like the rewards are going to actually increase a little bit, while the new model still has low inflation and encourages transaction fee revenue. The way block rewards have worked in the past is once a year they would do a snapshot of the total supply, and 1% of that would then be distributed throughout the following year as minor block rewards. But that part is going away with Unity, so it's hopefully going to be a little bit better of a model here. I'm going to get this down to where they're showing the proof of work and proof of stake blocks, and I'm going to leave it there for a minute, and we'll probably come back to that in just a few minutes. Okay. With the really crappy market over the past 18 months, AION has experienced a significant downward pressure on the value due to a lot of different factors, but the main ones being lack of users, lack of adoption, lack of demand by miners to even point our hash power at AION, unless you were just a diehard, right? We talked about this in the streams last week, the how to mine AION, and then the AION, the OAN overview that I did. I think that was Friday or Saturday, or Thursday or Friday. Anyway, check out those videos on my channel. I think they're, yeah, this one here, I can't remember what day that was. It must have been Thursday because this was Friday. But we actually talked about AION for the past 3 streams. So you can tell I like AION. It's a project that I like supporting. So there you go. But anyway, so they've had a rough go of it. If you look at their chart, go like, let's say a year, you can see, in other words, it's like really hard for miners to point their rigs at AION if they are mining at a loss due to the combination of just 1.51 AION block rewards, the network difficulty, and the network hash rate. You can kind of see how it's kind of suppressed the price, the value in USD over time. I know that, a lot of developers don't really talk about price at all, but, for people that are staking or eventually staking or wanting to mine it and actually make a profit, it's important to kind of compare it to something, right? You can't just, it's not the global currency, so you can't just say, hey, I've got, 1,000 AION or whatever, right? So, yes, 1 AION is still 1 AION and all that, but you still have to kind of compare it to something to figure out where you're at. So this also resulted in let me see where I'm at here with my notes. This also resulted in lower hash rate overall. But remember, there will be 50% less proof of work blocks each day. So it's not quite as great as it might seem at first, although it's still pretty awesome. we aren't actually going from 1.51 to 4.5 blocks with the same number of blocks, since the proof of work blocks will only account for 50% of the daily blocks. The other 50% are going to be proof of stake. So there are 8,640 proof of work blocks per day right now. And after Unity implementation, there will only be 4,320 proof of work blocks per day. The other 4,320 will be proof of stake blocks. And aside from the potentially increased mining rewards, another really telling and optimistic aspect of this new model and buzz surrounding the development of the OAN is the increasing number of active addresses. You can see by this chart here, pretty decent indicator that folks are digging the new economic model and the upcoming staking features, along with the OAN and open apps and all the great news coming out recently for AION and the OAN. So this little bump here at the end is kind of around the time of the OAN announcement and all that stuff. So you can see the active addresses is increasing a little bit. So that's kind of neat to see. I like seeing things like that. You certainly want to see, wouldn't want to see it drop off, So just keep that in mind as well. As far as staking goes, AION is targeting to have AION or the OAN. I'm going to use those terms interchangeably for quite some time probably, but technically I guess it would be the OAN at this point. They are targeting to have about 30% of the total supply staked by individuals, grant recipients, and exchanges. And that's just a target, it's not a limit, although it's desirable to have the majority of AION locked up because of liquidity. It's desirable to not have the majority of AION locked up because of liquidity. Because if you think about how the network's going to be used, open app users and developers will need to have access to AION tokens they can use for computational resources on the network. If all the AION were locked up, there would be none available to use, and that could negatively impact the usefulness and value of the network. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, if they're all locked up and there's not any available, then the price will go through the roof. But you can kind of see how, if you're an app developer or an app user, you're not going to pay extremely high prices for, AION tokens to use the network. So it's kind of like a balance thing. You have to really think about it in terms of balancing things out. You don't want to have everything locked up like some projects do, 80 or 90% locked up, and then there's no liquidity, right? So that's what they're looking at. They don't want to have zero liquidity on the network. That would not work out very well. The minimum staking amount is 1,000 AION, and pools will be held to a self-bond ratio that's currently set to 100. And what this means is that a pool that's staking the minimum will be able to stake the minimum of 1,000 AION. Will be able to stake a delegated 100,000 AION. So it's basically 1%. So they have a 1% stake or a 1% bond where they have to stake 1,000 themselves, and then with that 1,000 they can be delegated to stake 100,000 more. So it works out pretty well. It's a really low ratio. Some people are talking about it being a bad thing, but I think it's all right as long as there's quality, staking pools out there that are doing that. So there's quite a few staking pools out there right now that will allow you to delegate your AION to them for staking. Delegating to a pool gives the AION holder the peace of mind of earning a little bit of passive income and staking his coins without having to worry about the day-to-day maintenance and troubleshooting of staking your own AION using your own hardware or your VPS or whatever. So most of the pools do charge a fee for this service, and it looks like it ranges from a whopping 0% all the way up to 20% or more. So it just depends on the pool, but that percentage is taken out of your earned rewards, not the total that you're staking, right? So it's not like they're going to take that off the top. It's just whatever you earn with whatever you're staking, that percentage is taken out. And we'll look at some percentages here in a minute. And even though you delegate, you still own your own tokens, and the pool cannot spend them or steal them. You can undelegate at any time, but it looks like it takes about 24 hours for that transaction to go through the undelegating. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking about staking coins. The OAN is getting assistance for its economic model and even auditing from Prism Group. Auditing, in my opinion, is like it's essential to the success of a project, or when there's a significant change to an existing project, it's essential. It'll help identify problems and vulnerabilities, and in this case, a mathematical function, right, with the staking. The earlier that you get an audit done, the better, so that any problems can be fixed before it's way too late. So that is a good thing as well. Real quick, if you have any questions, you can throw them in the chat over there. I don't know who all's in here. We got Yashnik. What's up, Dan? Dan the Dane's in here. What's going on, man? Cafe Voodoo. What's up, Eric? Crypto Z. What's going on, everybody? Bitcoin Jake. What's up, man? All right, so let's look at a little bit of more into this. So we talked about, basically the overview of the staking and how it's going to work out and all that stuff, and how hopefully it's going to increase a little bit of the mining rewards. So all that stuff is really great, but let's look at how we actually do it. So the interface, I think I said I was going to come back to it. Where's it at? Here it is. So the interface looks like this. This is staking.theoan.com, and it's the dashboard. So let me throw this in the chat over here. So this is where I'm at. And if you go here and you just click on get started, then it's going to take you to a little quick window that looks like this. It's recommended that you use Ledger, although I think that for the most part, most mining folks probably don't use or have a ledger, although they should. But I think that setting up AION on a ledger is not that difficult. It's something that I need to look at doing. But for now, let's just look at the Windows method. So you would, in this case, or the alternative method here. So I'm going to click on Windows. And again, this is just the staking dashboard. Okay. Now, I already downloaded this and I already installed it, so I'm not going to do it again. But you can see that it is SI. I assume that means staking interface, mainnet, Win32, and then all the versions and everything. So the way it works, I'm gonna get out of here, and just keep in mind that look at this interface here. So it's kind of neat what they did. Let me bring up. Let's see here. Trying to clean up my little display over here. So here is the file I downloaded, the SI. I'm assuming it is staking interface. And then if you right click on it and choose extract all, then you're going to need to extract that to a location. And in my case, I threw it on my normal location. I just let it do its thing. But I created a new folder called staking, and then AION. You can see that up here. And then this is the folder that it creates by itself. So if you don't want it to use that folder, you can move the files around. But this is what it looks like. So I'll just choose, I think if I do this, it should work. And it's just going to ask me to overwrite, most likely. Yeah, so overwrite with that. Not a big deal at this point. Now, I do want to make a note here or want you to realize something. This takes quite some time to do. I don't know why exactly, although there are a ton of items in here. I mean, a lot, 5,000 different items. So it does take quite a while to do. So I'm going to actually exit out. Let me see here. Yeah, see, it's just blasting through all these different files. It says 11 minutes to go, which I think that's pretty accurate, actually. Now I wonder if, since I've already got it extracted and stuff, I probably should be able to just stop it, I think. So I'm just going to exit out of that like that, and then see if it still runs, and if not, then I'll just start it over. But all right, so that is how you would download and then extract it, right? Then once you get it done, what it'll look like once you get it extracted, it'll look like. So this is what the folder will look like, and you'll have an exe in here called si.exe. My opinion, I wish they would have named it something like AION SI or something like that, because it's, you know, I mean, you kind of have to know that this is the correct one, and it's just going to say SI if you don't have it showing your extensions and stuff. So it's kind of, I don't know. I would have liked to have seen it say AION SI, but whatever. All right, so if you right click on it and then choose run as administrator, or if you double click on it, it probably will just run. I think it does ask it, well, at least whenever the first time I ran it, it does pop up and ask, hey, are you sure you want to run this, potentially, you know, whatever, malware and all that stuff. But you know, you just want to make sure that you're on the right website and that it's secure and all that stuff, you know, before you download it. You want to make sure you're using HTTPS and not HTTP. You know, there's a lot of people trying to scam people out there, not necessarily with this, but just with anything. So just stay prudent and alert with what's going on. Make sure you're using the right website and downloading the correct file. But then, whenever you launch it, look at what it looks like. It basically looks exactly like the interface, which is kind of cool. I like that. All right, that's a good, you know, user interface type. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. All right, so you can now click on Get Started. Now what we're going to be doing, if you click Get Started here, I think it should, yeah, it comes up with a very similar window here, right? But you can see it's a little bit different down here. Now it doesn't say Windows and Linux and all that stuff. It just says Keystore file, private key, and mnemonic phrase. So you could choose either one. We're going to choose the Keystore file. Now, how do you get your Keystore file from your wallet? So I'm going to exit out of here for a second. I'm going to go over here and launch my AION wallet. I just have to unlock it and stuff. All right, so your AION wallet might look something similar to this, or it should look something similar to this. And if you wanted to get your Keystore file, then you would just click on this little, it's basically a piece of paper, it looks like, with an arrow on it. So if you click that, and you can actually see the help text that pops up there, export to Keystore. So you click on that, and then, I always get confused here. All right, so if I click so I think that you have to click that first. Even though it prompts you for the password first, I think you have to click this first, and then go to the location that you want to save it. So in this case, I'll just put in AION staking, and in downloads, and then AION staking. This is just a temporary folder. So I'm going to select that folder. And then the password for that wallet, or for that Keystore file. And then save. So now I should have in here, actually I have two of them. I think I grabbed another one, or yeah, I grabbed a different one earlier on. So this one is today. So this is the mining one. Okay, so this one is from today. We can use either one of these. We'll get to that in a minute. But that is your Keystore file right there. That's what it looks like. I'm going to minimize both of those. I'm going to go back to the staking interface here. And we are going to click Get Started. Keystore file. And it says here to drag and drop or upload. Now, I couldn't get drag and drop to work. And I don't know why. It might be a little quirky here, but let me I'll grab this one. Yes, oh, see? Now it worked. Before, the first time I did this, it would always have the slash, the red slash, you know, circle with the slash through it, and it would never say move. So now it looks like it might work. Yeah, all right, cool. All right, so I don't know the difference between what I did just now and earlier, but it does seem like it's working out. All right, so we're gonna click continue once we get that in there. If not, if that doesn't work for you, if you experience that same little quirk, you can just click browse and go grab the file from wherever it is. From wherever you saved your key. Uh-oh. All right, well, I don't know what that was. Hopefully that doesn't cause us a problem here. And then we're gonna click continue. All right, so then it wants the password to the Keystore. And I'm not really interacting too much with the chat, so hopefully Yashnik is holding it down over there. Yashnik and CryptoZ. All right, so it said, please wait while we log you in. Okay, great. Now I do have, you see how it took just a second for that to come up, right? It didn't appear immediately. You have to kind of give it a second, wait on it. It's probably looking at the blockchain, and figuring out how much, AION this address has. So it takes a second. But once you get it open like this, now you have an account information here. You can see that I've already staked a little bit. Just playing around with it. If you go to staking, I think that's where you get the list. Yep. Okay, but I don't want to go that far just yet because I want to show y'all something that I experienced, and hopefully it does the same thing, and it's kind of a gotcha kind of thing, and I want to point this out. So if you click delegate, let's say you have whatever amount here, and you want to click delegate, and then you click on which delegation pool or staking pool you want to choose. You want to actually stake. We're going to go with aionpool.tech, right? So we're going to click delegate. Now, I think because I'd already done this, it did already have AION pool down here, but earlier it defaulted to, I think it was this one, because it's in alphabetical order, I believe. All right, so what I mean is, whenever I went in here and I chose delegate, and then I chose AION pool delegate, so I wanted to use AION pool, but what was here was that other pool. So you have to be really careful. I'm just pointing this out, and it looks like maybe it's fixed. I don't know, but it definitely was not the pool that I wanted to delegate to at the time. It was the other one, this one here. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you verify every transaction, every selection that you make here. All right, so I'm going to choose full amount. I'm going to choose AION pool down here. And then we'll go. So I'm doing the full 2 AION, all of it. And then it looks like a transaction fee of 0.02 AION. Okay, great. And then I'm going to click delegate. And then you can see right here, it lets you know that there's an 8% reward or 8% fee for your rewards. And if you go back over here to, let me back out of here before I do that. You can see right here that this screen shows you all the different staking pools that have registered as staking pools with AION or with the OAN. Okay, and you can see whether or not they're active, the total that they have staked on their pool, the self bond, how much they have in the bond, that we talked about earlier. Remember, it's 1%, so they can stake, they can be delegated 1%. Well, they have to stake for every 1% that they can stake 99% above that, or 100%. How's that work? I don't know. I'm probably doing the math wrong, but anyway, if they stake 1,000, they can be delegated 100,000. So this is 1% of 100% that they could be delegated. All right. The stake weight, maybe Yashnik and them can probably describe that a little bit better than me. But right here is the fees. The fees, you can see, what in the world is this? 100% fee? All right, yeah. Like I said, the fees are all crazy. I mean, here's one for 20, here's one for 10, here's one for 0. But it looks like 8 is going to probably be about the average. Maybe 9 would be an average at this point. But performance, I wouldn't worry about that just yet because this is not really active yet because they haven't switched over to Unity. So you're just looking at basically pre-staking, right? So I'm going to click on Delegate on AION Pool. And it does put it down there. So I don't know if maybe it just, maybe that one time, that very first time that you go in here, but it definitely was not set to AION Pool, even though I selected it before. So anyway, all right, so let's get back to this. So I clicked full amount right here. And then I'm going to click Delegate. And you can see right here, it warns you several times of what the percentage is. So just keep that in mind. Because whenever you click Delegate, it also shows you out here. And then I'm going to click Confirm. And then I'm going to go back to staking because it says processing and it'll be a little bit. But if I go to account, what I should see is eventually within probably just maybe 30 seconds to 60 seconds, 30 seconds to a minute, should see this go down here and this will be like 328 or whatever. I believe that's the way it'll work. Yeah, stake weight is the percent of the pool staking power compared to the whole staking power, just like network percentage for proof of work. All right, thanks for that explanation there, CryptoZ. I appreciate it. Glad you are here to explain all that. And there we go, boom. So it went down, it didn't go down here yet, but it did take it out of my balance. So I think this should go to 328 or so once it goes through and gets confirmed or whatever. At least I think that's the way it'll work. Although this is, yeah, that's the same address, I think. But yeah, all this is the same wallet, all that stuff, so should be good. Yeah, so don't stake with Ginny Juju. That's just for testing, according to Yashnik, so appreciate that. Yeah, see, that's I had to do that last time. So see, it wasn't down here. It was still at 326. And the last time it did pull this, it did change this and refresh it. But the last time I did this, whenever I staked that original 326, I had to click off of it and then back on it. And then it did the exact same thing here where it immediately showed you the new balance. So I guess that, you know, I don't know, maybe it's just a little goofy thing about the program or the interface here, but yeah, so it's looking good here. What's up, Red Panda? Thanks for tuning in, man. So I don't know, Yashnik, is there anything else you want me to show or demo or anything like that? I've pretty much covered everything. I mean, I don't really want to go through undelegating, although I guess it's about the same process. I mean, I guess I can blast through it real quick. I haven't done it before, but remember that if you do undelegate, that it takes about 24 hours. So I don't want to do this because it looks like it's going, I don't know, Yashnik, will it do all of it or can I do a portion of it? Let me know if I click, well, I'll just click it. All right, so yeah, I want to undelegate, all right, and then full amount or not, right? So it's basically, this is awesome because it is basically the same interface, right? The only difference is undelegate or delegate. And I guess you can withdraw, you know, send it to an address, I would assume. It's going to put it back into the original or the account's address, right? If you wanted to withdraw some. Now, one of the things I did have a question about because, and Yashnik and CryptoZ will be able to probably answer this, I'm sure. But let's say that I wanted to mine, if let's say I was mining to this address, how will that, actually no, I already looked at that because it ends up in my wallet over here. So I still have to, so if you're mining to that address and you want to keep staking that whatever you're mining, then it looks like you're going to have to go and actually do it. Yeah, because that's exactly what I just did. Actually, I demoed it, and now I'm talking about it like I didn't know how it works. Okay, so if you're mining to that wallet, you know, the same address that's in here, right here, then it's going to be its own wallet, and those coins are not going to auto stake, right? So I think that maybe that could be something that they could add in the future. That would be kind of cool, is to just auto stake the coins, but I don't know how that would work with fees and whatnot. So maybe that's why they don't do it, transaction fees and whatnot. So I don't know. That would be cool. Anything else, Crypto Z or Yashnik? Red Panda, no. Because it's done on the pool, the staking pools. So you won't have to have a wallet open or anything like that. Your wallet could be on a ledger, which is what they actually recommend. If you go over here and go, let me sign out here. So if you click get started, right here it says recommended ledger. So they really want you to use a ledger, which means no, it won't be open, right? It's definitely offline storage. So I think that is it. I think I covered pretty much everything. I mean, if you didn't have your Keystore file but you had your private key, you could use that. Basically the same method that we just used. Or if you had your mnemonic phrase and nothing else, you could start putting your phrase in there. And then maybe once I get my ledger set up with AION, I'll go through this process as well. But this is super cool. I'm proud of AION. I like it. I'm digging it for sure. And they have this little walkthrough here on how to, this is on AION. I'll put this link over here in the chat as well. This is just a real quick run through on how to do what we did as far as getting your Keystore file. You know, it walks you through that over here, so works out pretty well. They misspelled select, but that's okay. All right. So if you found this content somewhat useful or entertaining or anything, be sure to like, share, and subscribe and all that good stuff. And click that little notification bell and whatnot. I think they've actually changed it now. You have to click the notification bell and then you want to choose whether or not you want to personalize it or all. So be sure you select all, because I only do a video every day or almost every weekday. So you don't miss out on anything. Make sure you click that. See you guys next time, and stay savage.